This week's Raw was the Fallout episode from last night's Survivor Series pay-per-view, as well as the beginning of the build-up for Day 1 on January 1st, 2022. Team Raw ended up winning the Battle of the Brands with 5 out of 7 wins last night. The Red Brand won both traditional Survivor Series elimination matches. RK Bro upset the Usos. Becky Lynch triumphed over Charlotte Flair. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Damien Priest by disqualification. And Omos dominated and won the 25-man Battle Royale. We also saw a handful of segments devoted to a large, ornate egg. It was one of the MacGuffins from The Rock's most recent movie, Red Notice. So it was a bit of a cross-promotion to celebrate the 25th anniversary of his WWE debut. Unfortunately, the Great One did not attend the show because he's in Europe filming a movie, and travel restrictions with COVID kept him from being there. So there's your answer. Who stole the egg? How will the winners from Survivor Series capitalize on their momentum? Let's take a look at everything from tonight's Raw to find out. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats. And yeah, not much further ado, let's get into this. Monday Night Raw, the fallout from the Survivor Series on the red side, emanating from the very site of Survivor Series last night, second night in a row, the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. And yes, there was some backstage stuff that started it, this whole egg nonsense. But we actually did get a payoff out of that. Vince McMahon promised that whoever helped find the egg or return that egg to him, that individual would be handsomely rewarded with a WWE Championship match against Big E in the main event tonight. And that individual ended up being Austin Theory. The biggest match of that young man's career. Did he make history and become the youngest champion in history? We'll find out at the end. But first, we started it out with an actual match for a change, not a windbag talking segment for once. It was Riddle literally dressing up like Randy Orton, squaring off against Dolph Ziggler, and Riddle picks up the win in 9.5 minutes. If you like Riddle and his brand of humor, some of this stuff probably made you laugh. Unfortunately, for us, we didn't find it funny in the slightest. And I know MF probably feels that way too, considering the Orton mark that he is. However, not liking someone's character will not stop us from acknowledging Riddle's physical ability. When the bell rings, he can bring it. Against a guy like Dolph Ziggler, there was almost zero chance of this match being bad. Ziggler is a top seller in WWE, but we should also give Riddle credit for how he took the super kick he received after a slingshot out of the ring. This was a decent, energetic match to get the crowd hot for the rest of the show. Solid 3 stars to open this night after Survivor Series edition of Monday Night Raw. Yes, it's back to business as usual. For me, I would have celebrated last night after the dominance that was Survivor Series for Team Red. No surprise. So, but back to business here. That's really how it really honestly should be. And that's all I can say. Nice win for Riddle, keeping their momentum going from last night. That surprise win none of us saw coming with RK Bro beating the Usos. But that's all there is to say there. So MF, Riddle literally tried to dress up like your boy Orton. Orton was pissed, but Orton went from being pissed to actually having a smile on his face because Riddle won with the Viper Zone move, the RKO, in 9.5 minutes.
You know what? Randy can... You know what? They always say sincerity is the best form of flattery.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yes. And that is exactly what Riddle did here tonight. Yes, I know a lot of people are going to give him a lot of grief for what he did for for the actions that he did and the whole 9 yards, and whatever you want to leave is what you leave. Well, what happened after that, I thought was absolutely phenomenal. You know what? We may give him a lot of grief. We may say he's a pain in the butt. We can say whatever we want to say about Riddle, and he's a little bit of a misguy. He's like that misbehaving child. If he doesn't get what he wants, he'll throw a little temper tantrum, whatever he does, and he's an annoying little pest. But the reason why Orton likes him is because he sees something in Riddle. Now, trust me, maybe Orton's probably not the biggest Riddle fan and probably will be like, man, maybe you should not have done that. But at the end of the day, if Riddle's going to continue to do what he does, Orton could either adapt with it and say, all right, cool, I'm somewhat pleased, or he could have punched his lights out if he wanted to here tonight, but he didn't. He let him live for 1 week, but we'll see how that goes. It seems like Riddle just tries to up the ante, does a little here and there stuff, but doesn't go overboard on it. The one time that Orton got on Riddle, he had every right to get on Riddle, and that was because he picked a fight with Big Ol' Moss, and we all saw what happened. Ol' Moss obliterated Riddle, and Orton was fuming. We all remember it happened in our house in Providence. So, of course, Riddle is trying to win Randy over. That's the only way you can. So, what do? Try to imitate Orton, showing why he is the legend killer. And he also put him away with the RKO. All right, fine, all right. But Orton one-ups him, hits him with the bra at the end. And, hey, you know what? Anything you can do, I can do better. That's how I see it. It was a solid match. It's about 2.5 stars. But Riddle's got to watch himself. Because there's, with Randy Orton, man, you can push it as far as you can, but if you get far enough, if you make a mistake, man, that Viper strikes. And those 3 most devastating letters in all of WWE could be coming down the pipe. You don't know. It might. We'll wait and see what happens. So, yeah. Solid match. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, this was a 2.5 star match. I mean, Riddle can be the kind of guy that gets under a lot of people's skin, and I'm sure he probably did with that. But at first, Randy Orton probably didn't like it, but as soon as he hit that RKO on Ziggler, that he was smiling, and so much so when Rude tried to attack, Orton hit him with Riddle's own finishing maneuver. I mean, he's in the good graces of Randy Orton right now, but as Fletch said, it doesn't take much to really piss him off. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to you.
And then we had that elongated talking segment, but this was a worthy one. Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, coming out, talking about her victory over Charlotte Flair last night. What many may not know is that there was a WWE.com exclusive after Survivor Series last night, and Becky Lynch was emotional during that. And, you got to see that to believe it. And she delivered the in-ring promo talking about Charlotte Flair and talking about her biggest moments in the Barclays in Brooklyn, including turning on Charlotte at SummerSlam 2018. We all remember that. And then talked about Liv Morgan, and man, all I can really honestly say about this is that as much as the fans want to cheer Becky Lynch, and as much as I think the safer play was to keep her a babyface, the decision has been made that she's a heel. With that in mind, it was good to see her tear into the fans in this promo rather than letting them cheer along. So short, sweet, and to the point. And then from there, there were quite a few cutouts here. First up, we had Bianca Belair going one-on-one with Tamina. Bianca Belair winning the match in 4 minutes. 2-star match. Tamina is a powerhouse veteran, and Bianca Belair is one of the most talented performers to break out in recent years. But a lack of time to do anything special led to this being a short and uneventful match. The real story came after it was over when Doudrop attacked Belair to cement her heel turn and make this feud official. She hit her running crossbody to leave the EST laying in the ring. A feud between Doudrop and Belair could yield some fun matches if booked right. It won't take long before we see these two in the ring throwing down. So we'll see what happens with that. There, Seth Rollins, he was cutting a promo and interrupted by Finn Balor. Finn Balor comes out. Now, these two were scheduled to have a match. And unfortunately, that did not happen because Seth Rollins attacked Finn Balor. These two just had a good old-fashioned brawl fight. This was more of an angle, really, than a match. But the lone highlight that came out of this, and Michael Bullock knows where I'm going with this because we gushed over this during our Raw chat. Finn Balor hitting that Tope Con Hilo with his jacket still on. I still couldn't believe he did that. I mean,
I can't believe it either.
Yeah, I mean, we were gushing over that during our Raw chat, but that was more of an angle than a match, honestly. The brawl between Rollins and Balor was short but entertaining. This is a feud that will produce some awesome matches, so most fans are probably excited to pick up steam. And that's really all there is to say there. Then from there, we had a tag team match. It was the Street Profits squaring off against the phenomenal AJ Styles and Omos. AJ Styles and Omos, they win the match via disqualification, 8 minutes and 15 seconds. And the Street Profits have finally found a way to slow the big man, and that is blast a fire extinguisher in between the big guy's eyes. Oh, man. So that's really all there was to say there. Putting AJ Styles and Montez Ford in the ring together is never a bad idea, but the way this tag match played out was not helpful to either team. Omos didn't get another decisive win, and the babyfaces had to resort to using a weapon. Who benefits from this segment? The little wrestling we saw was fine, but they weren't going to tear the house down with a script like this. So it would probably be at the best a 2.5-star rating, although, we could really call it an NA, honestly. But, it is what it is. But we forgot to mention that during that Seth Rollins and Finn Balor brawl, an actual fan, not a plant, an actual fan attacked Seth Rollins on the entrance ramp. And Derek Ferreira did a video about this. MF, you got something to say about it?
Yeah, this really, really irked me when I saw the video. I've seen the video. I know about it. We've heard about it. Everybody's been reacting to it all night. There's certain lines you can cross. This is a line that nobody should ever cross in wrestling, in entertainment,
nope,
in sports.
Oh no.
We are the paying customers. We should never jump into that foray and interrupt a performance or any type of event. And for this person to even take it one step further and to tackle Seth Rollins is that is the most dangerous thing, the most idiotic thing to do.
Amen.
And for us, and I know Derek Ferrer talked about it and said that it gives wrestling a bad name. And I'll even say this, and me and Ferreira are not the best of friends, but he expertly and eloquently explained, that yes, he does not like Monday Night Raw. And he probably will go on some rants here tonight about the show. But the way that he handled the situation was the right thing to do. You know what? Yes, it's constructive criticism. Yes, he may be an AEW mark, but he knows what you can do and what we can't do. We can criticize WWE all we want. We can say whatever we want to say about any wrestling program. Doesn't have to be about WWE. There's been a few times when we've gone after AEW. There's been a few times when we've gone after Impact Wrestling. But we never, ever, ever cross any lines of attacking a professional wrestler or jumping over that fence and trying to do. No, that's where you get yourself in big time trouble. I'm glad WWE posted made an official proclamation, and that they had openly said that NYPD was going to handle this and that they were going to press charges on this individual.
And
rightfully so. This man, as of now, will never be allowed to set foot at the Barclays Center ever again. That's a lifetime ban automatically. It does not matter.
You talk about an absolute waste of money. I mean, he was enjoying himself, and then he had to go and do a stupid, idiotic thing like this.
And somebody on the internet, now wait a minute. Somebody on the internet said that was a plant, that he actually, that was all scripted. No, that's not scripted, folks. No, that was not scripted. That's not a plant. That's not an independent wrestler. Because we were looking through the archives. We were looking through IWC. We were looking through all the dirt sheets, and everybody is saying this was not a plant. This is not an independent wrestler or anybody else with no affiliation with WWE or who because sometimes in the past there's always local wrestlers, there's guys that WWE might bring in to be a part of a show, like the infamous barroom brawl that the APA did. That was a lot of guys from the New England Wrestling Alliance. That used to be, and as a matter of fact, the two guys who actually started that fight, who picked the fight with Farouk and Bradshaw, that was Danger Floyd Alfredo and Wolverine, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Those were our boys.
Our boys.
They started that brawl. So at the end of the day, that's exactly what happened there. So no, I'm not happy with it. I'm more upset about this more than anything else because of the fact that, and I even said it, there's no business for this to happen. And for poor Seth Rollins, this is not the first time this has happened. This is the second time Rollins has been involved in something like this. The other time was when he was a member of the Authority. He was the WWE champion. And you remember that fan that was walking with him down the rampway?
Yep, I do.
So, I mean, this is not the first time Seth has gotten caught in this net. And now for this to happen, is unexcusable. There's no excuse for this at all. And I do believe and I do hope that WWE, Seth Rollins, and Barclays, New York, whatever, you have to handle this with the utmost seriousness. And this needs to be an example so that any sport, any event, anywhere in the world, nothing like this ever happens again. Credit to the Barclays Center security. Credit to WWE security for getting this gentleman and laying him and preventing him from physically hurting Seth Rollins. Thank God Seth did not get physically injured, because that could have gone all kinds of wrong for Seth here tonight.
Indeed.
That could have been a lawsuit.
Major. And,
but the thing is, it would have been the other way around. This guy would have been the defendant, where Seth Rollins would have been the plaintiff. Because if you notice, Seth never, ever threw any punches. He never kicked the guy. He never did anything. If you saw the video, and there was one who was right at ringside, right at the barricade when this broke out. He basically wrestled him to the ground. Seth tried to get out of it, got out, and by the time he got out, the security had already pounced on him. So
yeah, kudos to Seth Rollins for not doing it, because if he had thrown any fist or tried to fight back with him, I think it would have made Seth Rollins look a little worse.
Yeah, he could have been in big time trouble. He could have possibly put his title shot at risk because of that. So
yeah, because it's one thing for the fan to go after him, but if he were to strike back, ooh, that would have been a major no-no.
No, it would have. But
either way,
yeah.
it's a messy situation.
Very, very much so. Very much so. So but yeah, hope it was worth it there, Hammenegger, because you went from enjoying yourself and all that to earning yourself a night in the pokey there, son. So yeah, right down the drain, kid. Hope you love it. That's all there is to say there. So follow our example, because when we were there 3 weeks ago, nothing like that happened. Absolutely nothing like that happened. So because unlike them, we got way more respect for the superstars.
Yeah, actually, Derek Ferrer just posted on his Facebook. Yeah, he just posted on his Facebook. I guess you could say it's the timeline or stories. This is, as he said, he got this from Mark Riamati. He just says here. This is just the quote, and this is from ESPN. A 24-year-old male has been taken to custody in Brooklyn after following an attack on WWE superstar Seth Rollins during a Raw show at Brooklyn tonight. NYPD spokesperson tells ESPN charges are pending, but no name released yet. So we know he's 24 years old, but that's the only thing we know. We probably will know more probably within the next couple of days, but I mean, yeah, there's really nothing more to add on that whole incident. Like you said, the Hammenegger jabroni, like you said, Florio, congratulations, dumbass. You just got kicked out of the Barclays and you're never welcome to that place ever again.
Insane. But we have a much lighter, we're gonna really lighten up the mood here. We're gonna have some fun right now. Because up next, we had a women's tag team title matchup. The champions, Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH, defending the titles against Queen Zelena Vega and Carmella. The winners of the match, 4 minutes and 50 seconds, almost 5 minutes. And the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Queen Zelena Vega and Carmella. Queen Zelena wins it with the code red at 450 on Nikki ASH. MF, you said you wanted to have some fun with this. We're going to have some fun with this right here and right now.
Bend the knee.
First, hit us with the monsoon, and then your routine.
History has been made here at the Barclays tonight. An unprecedented crowning of new women's tag team champions. And yes, we do gracefully bend the knee to the queen, Zelena Vega. Congratulations. And to Carmella as well. Unbelievable. Whoever would have thought this was going to happen? And for Zelena Vega, what a rebound for her career. You know, a lot of people were thinking, no way, no how. The next thing we know, she comes back to the company. The Queen's crown is hers. And now she just took home her first ever championship in WWE. And it was literally in her own backyard, New York City, in the 5 boroughs in Brooklyn. She takes home gold. How apropos it is for Queen Zelena. And for Carmella, what a bounce back for her after winning the Money in the Bank, becoming the SmackDown Women's Champion, you know, not having any opportunities, you know, been in and out for a little while, now comes to Monday Night Raw, works with Queen Zelena, bingo, title change. And she gets herself her first title since winning the SmackDown Women's Championships about 3 years ago.
3.
So, an absolute golden moment for both women. Amazing run. You know, give credit where credit's due. Tip the cap to Nikki ASH and to Rhea Ripley for their run. It wasn't really the most spectacular run, but still, at the end of the day, they did pretty well for the most part. But now, my boys, what is life gonna be like? Now we have a ravishing queen wearing gold around that pretty little waist. As far as Carmella goes, she's got Corey Graves. I mean, yeah, you do with that. But for the regal, for the honor, the prestige, and the gracefulness of a beautiful queen like Zelena Vega, I bow and bend the knee and say that congratulations for you making history. Your father, who is a diehard wrestling fan, should be very proud of you tonight, my dear. You deserve this and so much more. This is your night. This is your moment. And you did it in the 5 boroughs of New York. This makes up for everything that happened on the 9/11 anniversary that was coming up. This makes up for everything. And WWE, and one other thing that she even admitted it, is that Vince McMahon actually called her to apologize for canceling her match at Madison Square Garden, knowing what the backdrop was. And look at what has happened since then. Queen's Crown, and now one half of the brand new Women's Tag Team Champions. Zelena Vega has had a renaissance, folks. We all knew her just as a valet for Andrade, Cien Almas. Then she had a not so spectacular run as a singles competitor. She left WWE momentarily because, with all the Twitch problems and everything else, but she got out, but came back. And ever since she came back, the first couple of months, not so great. And we were like, this might be a waste. Why is she still there? This is why she's still there. This is why she stuck around for moments like this. Michael Bullock, I am very proud of you, my friend, for acknowledging the queen and bending the knee. I know that takes a lot of that. I know she's not your favorite, but I appreciate you bending the knee for her tonight.
And Fletch, her father must have been looking down on her. I mean, because we seen that little interview that she had talking about the memory of losing her father on 9/11, and I can't imagine what it was like for her that day to know that her father wasn't coming home, and she must have been thinking of him when she won the women's tag team title. And I think it's all come full circle for her. And like you said, the first 2 months, it was not good. And I was thinking maybe this was a waste of a return. But in the end, I think WWE is justified in bringing her back. Because now she has the Queen's crown and now is one half of the women's tag team champions. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So Florio, it is yours.
And I too will gladly bend the knee for the Queen as well. And we're gonna have a funny haha moment in just a moment with myself and Bullock. But first, I do have a small bit of constructive criticism here, and that is about the women's tag team championship belts themselves. They've never been treated seriously by WWE. So we should not be shocked. I know I wasn't. I saw this coming from a mile away, believe it or not. Nobody should be shocked to see Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross have their reign ended on a random Monday Night Raw. The match was fine. All four superstars did what they could, but with little to no storyline, it's hard to get the crowd invested in what is happening. Carmella and Queen Zelena as champions could be fun if they are allowed to have some real feuds, but with the division so thin right now, it's going to be an uphill battle. 2.25, teetering on 2.5 for this match. And the funny stuff here, and this is another moment for myself and Bullock during our Raw chat. Bullock, are your ears still ringing from all that screaming that Carmella and Queen Zelena were doing? Oh my goodness.
What?
I take that as a yes. The screaming of Queen Zelena and Carmella after they won the titles. I'm guessing your ears are still ringing from that. And
well, that's why I was joking around with the what, because my ears are ringing from that. I mean, it's bad enough when Carmella does it, but now you put Zelena Vega in there and she does it too.
Oh boy!
But you know what? It's hard to question them now that they're the champs.
Yeah, indeed, it is hard. And of course, like MF said about Corey Graves, Corey Graves, he was jizzing his pants at ringside. Trust me on that. Trust me when I tell you that. Having his fiance literally right in front of him with that women's tag team championship and Queen Zelena both on the announce table. Myself and Bullock would probably be, 50-50, but MF would be beyond welcoming, especially with Queen Zelena on doing her thing on the announce table as well as Mella.
I would probably say at that moment, now this might get me in trouble with Malachi Black, but I would have first bended the knee and then maybe attempted to try to kiss the hand of Zelena. Now, that's why I said it might get me in trouble with Malachi Black. So I'm just putting it out there because we all know Zelena and Malachi are husband and wife, real life. There's nothing to dispute there. But if
Wonder what he's thinking right now.
Huh?
Wonder what he's thinking right now.
He's probably thinking, well done. You stuck with it. You did, you did not give up. You went back.
Yep.
And it benefited. It worked.
Certainly did.
So her patience, and not only that, but her not leaving and staying the course, because she could have gone to any company in the world. She could have gone to AAA. She could have gone to AEW. She could have gone anywhere. But she decided to come back to WWE. And this is one of those rare stories that WWE rewards somebody for staying with them. And I think that's something that even though we have so much negativity towards WWE, this is actually one of their true success stories that we could say.
Yeah.
Zelena left WWE, but it seemed like they left on okay terms. She comes back, which everybody thought she wasn't going to do, but she does. And look what happened.
Yeah, we thought she was going to get lost. We thought she was going to get lost in the shuffle, but in a month's time, in 1 month's time, she wins. She goes to Saudi Arabia, wins the Queen's Crown with a victory over Doudrop in the final, and then 1 month and 1 day later, here tonight on Monday Night Raw, in literally her backyard, New York State, Brooklyn,
New York
boroughs.
City, yep, Brooklyn, New York City, yep.
We know she's right around that area, like around the Bronx or something like that, and Zelena becomes one half of the brand new women's tag team champions. Of course, Carmella, Staten Island, Princess of Staten Island.
Yep, Staten Island girl. Yep. Home turf
so this
for
was
her.
Definitely a homecoming for those two beautiful dames, no doubt about that. And Zelena, what can you say? I mean, when she got let go because of that whole third party BS, and I mean, we were all taken aback. MF was fuming, Cerebral Viper style, but then she comes back and she sticks it out, and she very easily could have stayed gone. She very easily, like MF said, could have gone. She maybe could have joined her husband in AEW. Maybe she could have gone back to Impact, where she started, where she was known as Rosita, as part of Sarita and Rosita, Mexican America. Sean Hernandez, Anarquia. We all know how that turned out, or Mexico. And, of course, the big story in AAA, Kenny Omega relinquishing the AAA Mega Campeon because of his shoulder injury issues that were exacerbated in his AEW title loss to the Hangman at Full Gear. But boy, howdy, I mean, Zelena. And of course, her beautiful story about 9/11. She was definitely a part of that special ceremony. This year was marked the 20th anniversary of that. She gave a speech, because we know the story about her father and what happened, and yeah, this is definitely a great way to lighten the mood after that ridiculousness with that stupid idiot Muttonhead fan going after Seth Rollins, and you couldn't think of a better way to lighten the mood than this. And we kid around and do MF does the whole bend the knee to the queen stuff and all that, but this is a real recognizing real moment. And on behalf of all of us here, congratulations to Zelena Vega, her first ever championship belt title in WWE to go with the Queen's Crown. Second belt for Carmella. So obviously she'll never go back to NXT and go for the NXT women's title. So all she has to do, Carmella, maybe one day she could become the Raw women's champion and she'll be a triple crowner. So Zelena gets 1/3 of that. She has to win the Raw and the SmackDown women's titles to get the triple crown, because those 3 belts, along with the NXT women's title, is considered the women's Grand Slam. So big moment for Zelena. And but the goodness for MF keeps on coming, because yes, there was 24/7 silliness. Reggie defended the title against Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander wins the title in 90 seconds, a minute and a half. But then shortly thereafter, another one of MF's favorite young ladies, or baby girls in this case, Dana Brooke, steals the title from Cedric Alexander. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we actually did address the 24/7 stuff mainly because of Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. But MF, your girl, Dana Brooke, Queen Zelena was one thing, but we know you also have a major love thing for Dana Brooke, and I'm sure you were grinning just as much for her as you were for Zelena. Dana Brooke, a title holder.
Dude, I cannot believe it, man. Her first ever championship in WWE, 24/7 title. And the funny thing is now that she had the title, and look what happened. All the locker room cleared it out. Everybody was going to go after Cedric, and it was going to be a total free-for-all. Everybody stopped dead in their tracks the minute Dana won the title. Dana Brooke won the title, and all of the fellas are like, what are we going to do now? Nobody wants to deal with Dana because nobody wants to be that guy. Dana Brooke, I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know how this is going to happen. But Dana Brooke has just created history. She is one of a couple of women. Oh, by the way, yes, there has been 24/7 women who has won the title. I think there's been 3 or 4, actually. Kelly won it. I'm trying to think. Who else won the title? I want to say her.
I think Candice Michelle did.
Candice? And I'm trying to think, was there another woman that won it? Because I know Kelly won it. She was the first ever to do it. Then Candice won it. And I think Dana Brooke now is the champion. So Dana's the 3rd female ever to be 24/7 champion.
I have the list right here.
All right.
Kelly Kelly was the first. Then it was Candice Michelle.
Yep.
And then from there it was Alundra, Hall of Famer Alundra Blaze.
Alundra Blaze. Okay, so that's 3.
And then after that, it was just waiting for it to load here. Maria Kanellis, while she was pregnant, nonetheless.
Yep, I remember that.
Pinning her own husband, Mike Bennett.
Yeah, well, she kind of, she forced Mike to the pin.
Yeah, and then from there it was Carmella, a 2-time 24/7 champion.
All right.
I think that was during that whole dance break stuff. Tamina is also a former champion.
All right.
And then from there, and then the last to do it was actually Alicia Fox.
That might have been one of those special. Yeah, I think that was one of those special Raws, if I remember correctly.
I think it was during the Royal Rumble match. So. And she was the first African American female women's 24/7 champion. And now Dana Brooke adds her name to that elite list here tonight, and we know how much MF loves Dana Brooke, and I know that made him very happy to see that. And but once again, constructive criticism. There is nothing redeeming about the 24/7 title at this point. No. R-Truth was hilarious at first, but these quick bouts and segments are just filler at this point. However, there was something nice about seeing Dana Brooke look so happy after winning the belt, because it was her first ever title, albeit a silly prop title, but still.
And the funny thing is that, and again, look at all the guys who were celebrating because of the fact that, there was nothing there, so.
Oh.
What do you do? What do you do? How do you react? What do you do at that point? Well, good luck, fellas. How are you going to try to take the belt from Dana Brooke?
Well, enjoy it while it lasts, MF. That's all
I'm gonna enjoy every minute of this. Tonight was my night. Last night I was down in the dumps. Tonight was my night, folks. I will take this.
Even though they're two Raw girls, they're
I don't give a damn.
They're two of your favorites, though. Yeah, your number one favorite, Queen Zelena Vega, and someone you've had a love affair with since 5 years ago on that Monday Night Raw when she had that nurse's outfit on. That did it for you. So that's when your love affair with Dana Brooke began. So
that's when I went the Animaniacs. Hello,
nurse. Yes. Yep. Go back into my archives, folks. The August 29th, 2016 edition of Ridiculously Raw. That's the show that did it. So but anywho, all kidding aside, back to the serious business. We had a 2-on-1 handicap match. It was the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic, squaring off against Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley wins the match in an even 11 minutes. Michael Bullock front and center.
Yeah, I thought this was a fine handicap match for what it was. But the outcome to me was never in doubt. So I'll give it 3 stars for the effort here. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Handicap matches can be tricky because the team will either handily defeat its opponent or the solo star will destroy everyone. This one ended up being more competitive, but still believable because Lashley is good enough to take on 2 men at once, but not so big that it's a walk in the park. Dominic has improved quite a bit since debuting with WWE. His mic work is still developing, but his in-ring work alongside his father has allowed him to shine. This match was decent, but a little slow in some sections. Cruiserweights always work best when using a quick pace, and we know Lashley can keep up. So this could have been more exciting under the right circumstances. 3 to 3.25 stars for this. MF, your thoughts?
3.25, definitely. Solid match. I really think there was really nothing bad to say. So yeah, solid for what it was worth. And yeah, Florio, let's just move right on along.
And we move on to Damien Priest, the United States Heavyweight Champion, issuing an open challenge. We thought it was going to be answered by Apollo Crews, but Apollo Crews, I was like, we thought maybe Apollo Crews, maybe even Commander Aziz, but no, it wasn't either of them. Enter Sami Zayn, lame duck man from Friday Night SmackDown. So it was Damien Priest defending the United States Heavyweight Championship against Sami Zayn. No worry, Raw fans. There was no way this SmackDown Hammernager was gonna steal the U.S. title here. Damien Priest successfully defends 8 minutes and 45 seconds. Why would Crews come out but not accept the open challenge? How does that help him in any way? It may have reminded people he is on Monday Night Raw, but that was all that was accomplished there. However, the match between Damien Priest and Sami Zayn ended up being good. They were aggressive and seemed to have good chemistry. This is a combination WWE should go back to at some point. I'll give this a solid 3 stars for the effort. So not much more to say. MF, yeah, very funny. You almost got one over on us. Not.
Yeah. It was a solid match. I'll give you that. So I mean, it was pretty. It was pretty good. I mean, they made Sami look like a legitimate threat. They made him look really good. Sami had a great performance. Yes, the outcome was never in doubt. But man, if Sami would have been able to steal the belt from, I mean, dude,
you would have had to hold me back. You would have had to hold me back.
Sami Zayn almost pulled a heist in Brooklyn, man. He almost stole the United States title right out from under you boys. And oh my God, that would have been the ultimate kicker. Yeah, you might have whipped our butts last night at Survivor Series, but we ended up stealing one of your belts. Woo-hoo. Oh my God, I would have been laughing so hard. I would have been dying. I know Floyd, we were going to have to hold Floyd back because he was going to go absolutely mental. But hey, Damien Priest wins. It was a heck of a match. But I will say this, man. If they're going to keep doing these open challenges for the United States Championship, I hope they open it up so that guys from NXT and guys from SmackDown can jump in on this. Have these great matches because this will elevate Damien Priest and it will help elevate the United States title. Just like when John Cena was the champion, when he did these open challenges, it actually did make the U.S. title pretty credible for a little while. So if they start doing this again, dude, Monday Night Raw, you might have something really good on your hands right now. So yeah, solid match. Nothing more to say, but let's go.
What was the rating?
I gave it 3.
Yeah, it's an even 3 for me as well. I mean, this was a good open challenge, but the outcome was definitely never in doubt, especially when Sami Zayn provoked Damien Priest and he went to that dark place as soon as. I don't know about you guys, Florio. I know I told you this, and Fletch. I'm telling you this right now. It always seems like Damian Priest's eyeballs are ready to pop out whenever he starts going to that dark place. I mean, my goodness. But if that's the way he is, I mean, hey, who's going to complain about it? So, 3 stars for me. Let's move on, Florio.
And we move on to the main event of the evening. The battle for the WWE Championship. The champion, Big E, defending the title against, as named by Mr. Vince McMahon himself, the default number one contender for the WWE Championship, Austin Theory, winner of the match in an even 10 minutes, and still the WWE Champion. It was Big E with a big ending. MF, once again, no big surprise with the outcome, but whether we like Austin Theory or not, give it up for him. He hung with the champ.
He hung with the champ, and that was a hell of a performance by him too. He did very well here tonight. He definitely won a few fans here in this evening. But at the end of the day, the right man went over. There's some really good storylines that's being developed, especially on Monday Night Raw. Hey, what do you know? They're actually doing storyline progression. You got Kevin Owens wanting a shot at the title. You got Seth Rollins lurking around. Big E's got some multiple challengers now. And to be real honest with you, that's exactly what it needed it to be. So absolutely great job, great battle. You could say the Big E definitely needed a bounce back after what happened to him last night. Gained effort, falling a little short against Roman Reigns, and now the WWE Champion comes back off the mat, delivers on a very good performance, and not only that, but successfully defends the title. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what it needed it to be. Great successful victory for him. It's upward and onward for the champion himself. And like we said, major props to a very gained and valiant effort by a hell of a challenger in Austin Theory. We may not like him. We may not think he's whatever, but give credit where credit's due to this man. He absolutely shined in the spotlight here tonight. So, yeah, not bad for one of the youngest guys in WWE. He definitely has proven that um, he's got some definitely some great moments ahead in his young career, no doubt. So, Bullock, is yours.
What did you rate it, Fletch?
Just go with what you feel, Bullock.
And what was the time?
Even 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give it about maybe. I'll give it somewhere between 2.5 to 3. I mean, but yeah, I mean, this was definitely a game effort by Austin Theory. I mean, yeah, say what you want about him. I mean, he's a guy that we probably don't like, but he really gave a challenge to Big E. So yeah, but Big E definitely prevails, and now it's on to bigger things for him. And looks like he's got two guys that want the title, and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Austin Theory did well against Big E, but there was no way he was leaving with the WWE Championship. This match was about setting up Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens as potential challengers in the near future. Big E continues to shine in his role as a top star, whether he is joking around, being serious, selling for his opponents, or running dudes over, he delivers. So, 3 to 3.25 stars for this. So let's get into our overall review of this show. So, Michael Bullock, how did the Raw fallout from Survivor Series go in your eyes tonight?
I thought it was an okay show. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but we did have some storyline progressions with this. So I think I'll give it about maybe. I think I'll probably give it about six and a half for it. I mean, it was, like I said, all right, but like I said, nothing really that special with this show. So Florio, it's yours.
I'm right there with you. 6.5. This week's Raw was very uneven across the board. The egg stuff was weird. Most of the matches were average but forgettable. But we did have a couple of newsworthy moments. Queen Zelena and Carmella becoming the new women's tag team champions. Dana Brooke, albeit the 24/7 title, finally wins a title on her end. And, those were really only the real highlights here. Austin Theory getting a big push here tonight, even though we didn't win the title, but whatever. 6.5. Bullock nailed it. So there isn't much more to say. MF, let's get your overall rating, and then I'll get into my very special Tony's take for this week.
As far as Monday Night Raw goes, I think it was an all right show. I mean, it was very good. It was solid for what it was worth. I think we all were hoping for, I think for as it pertains to what happened last night with Survivor Series, I mean, it was a decent show. I mean, I could say 7 out of 10. I don't think it was, there were a few cutouts. I think we can definitely criticize about that. But at the end of the day, not bad. Pretty good stuff. So, yeah, really nothing more to add. And Anthony, I'll give it to you. 7 out of 10 for me.
Okay. Very special Tony's take here this evening. MF, if you want to address any of the happenings here, feel free. This past Saturday night, Impact Plus had a special event, a mini pay-per-view, if you will. It was called Turning Point. And the top prize in Impact Wrestling was up for grabs Saturday night at Sam's Town in Las Vegas as Moose made his first title defense against longtime foe Eddie Edwards in a Full Metal Mayhem match, which was the main event. The match headlined a show that saw every title in the company up for grabs. Mickie James defended the Knockouts title against Mercedes Martinez, and the Good Brothers put their tag team belts on the line against the Bullet Club's Chris Bay and Hikuleo. Did any of the titles switch hands, or were the champions able to retain their status among the best in the business? Let's find out right now. We started it off with Finn Juice versus Rohit Raju and Raj Singh, the Desi Hit Squad. Finn Juice wins the match. I think this might have been that pre-show match. I think, yeah, these were on the countdown show. Then we had a match for the Digital Media Championship. Jordynne Grace in her first defense of that title defended against Chelsea Green. Jordynne Grace retains the title. So now let's get to the main card, and we started it off with Chris Saban versus Ace Austin. Chris Saban wins the match. Raise your hand if you expected Saban and Austin to have a great match. Two of the best wrestlers on the roster were given free reign to have a 15-minute bout. They delivered, setting the tone for the rest of the show with a competitive match that highlighted Austin even in defeat and provided Saban another pay-per-view win. Where the outcome leaves Austin moving forward remains to be seen, but both he and Saban are cornerstones of the product and will find ways to remain relevant. Matches like this will make that easier. Then we had Rich Swann squaring off against VSK. Rich Swann wins the match. Swann and Brian Myers will have their inevitable blow-off, but this was a fine enough match in roots of that encounter. VSK was allowed to shine for a bit before Swann got his stuff in and scored the win. It still feels like a fall from grace for Swann, who started this calendar year as the World Heavyweight Champion, but has seen himself fall down the card to the point that he was feuding with Brian Myers in a randomly thrown together program. He has earned better than that, and hopefully he can work his way back up the card. Matt Cardona versus W. Morrissey. W. Morrissey wins the match. Much better match than it may have looked on paper thanks to the unwavering effort of Cardona and a Morrissey driven by contract negotiations and the search for a big money deal. The ref bump and appearance by Moose set up a scenario wherein Morrissey may involve himself in the night's Full Metal Mayhem main event, helping the champ retain his title. Given their history, it is at least a creative decision that makes sense. Moose costing Cardona the match would seem to suggest the former WWE United States champion may be in line for a world title shot sooner rather than later. Knockouts tag team titles on the line. The champions, The Inspiration, Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee. First title defense against the team that they won the titles from at Bound for Glory, Jessica Havoc and Rosemary Decay. Champions stay the champions. Inspiration win the match. The Inspiration are so clearly motivated to prove themselves as wrestlers in a way McKay and Lee were not allowed to at their previous stop. It shows in every performance, and this was no different. The work on Havoc's arm was great, and the underhand manner in which they retained the title sets up the potential for the continuation of the feud. It remains to be seen whether that's the direction management wants to take things, but it's a viable option. One thing is for sure, the champions are stars, and Impact has done a great job of treating them like that. Triple threat match for the X Division Championship. Champion Trey Miguel defending against Steve Macklin and the Laredo Kid. Trey Miguel wins the match. He's still the X Division champion. The chemistry between Miguel and Laredo Kid was wild, and using the straightforward Macklin to bring the hard-hitting offense and strength advantage was a nice touch. The result was a solid match that may have exceeded expectations. Still, the big money is in the champion defending against Macklin one-on-one, and no arbitrary application of a random X Division challenger changes that. Knockouts title on the line. Mickie James defending against Mercedes Martinez. Mickie James successfully defends the title. Martinez looks strong here, calling on her years of experience in a high-stakes, prominent title bout. No one expected her to leave with the title, but simply performing up to the moment against another woman who has seen and done it all over the course of her career would have been good enough. And it was. Now it'll be interesting to see what Impact officials do with Martinez. Is she signed long-term? If so, will she remain in a crowded title picture or wait her turn for another opportunity? We'll find out shortly. Tag team titles on the line. The Good Brothers defending against the Bullet Club, Chris Bay and Hikuleo. Good Brothers retain the titles. It was fine, but it has been difficult to invest in anything Anderson and Gallows have done of late because the Good Brothers appear to be in a holding pattern. They have not done much of note and haven't evolved or grown, but they have been in the tag title picture since day one. Until a team steps up that forces change or evolution in the champs, we will get adequate matches against talented teams, but more of the same from a personality and character standpoint. Their match with Bullet Club, given their rich history in the faction, was a major letdown because their past was glossed over. Main event of the evening, World Heavyweight title on the line. But before that match went down, Josh Alexander cut a promo and was interrupted by Jonah. Jonah happens to be, formerly of NXT, Bronson Reed. Yes, Bronson Reed is now in Impact Wrestling, and he absolutely manhandled Josh Alexander. He absolutely beat the hell out of him, bloodied him up. Whoa, what a signing for Impact. Bronson Reed. And from some of the spoilers I've been reading, it looks like we're going to see Bronson Reed or Jonah in this case square off against Josh Alexander at the Hard to Kill pay-per-view on January the 8th of 22. So, wow. Now we move on to the main event for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Moose defending against Eddie Edwards, Full Metal Mayhem match. Moose successfully defends. Hands down the fight of the night. This was a wild and chaotic main event that established Moose as the world champion and the top heel in the company. Edwards was the perfect opponent for him here, putting him through the ringer with several punishing spots before selling his offense and making the world champ look like a devastating force. The involvement of W. Morrissey and Matt Cardona keeps them in the picture too. Any instance in which there is a hot main event scene with multiple competitors challenging for the title only strengthens the champion by proxy. Speaking of which, Jonah's surprise appearance and merciless beatdown of Josh Alexander only adds to the title scene. He steamrolled the top babyface in the company and sent a message to the rest of the locker room in doing so. Suddenly, a portion of the roster that had questions about its depth looks as strong as any. So, a very well done Turning Point special this past Saturday night. And their next one is going to be that Throwback Throwdown. If you didn't see it before, I mean, it was a ridiculous over-the-top thing that they did a couple of years ago. But they're bringing it back. It's going to take place the week before Christmas on Saturday night, December the 18th. Throwback Throwdown 2. So that's more of a campy comedy type thing. I don't think I'm going to, waste my time on that. So that's really all there is to say on that. I probably would give this about a 7.5 or so. So solid show. So one of the better ones I've seen from the Impact Plus specials. So that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Tomorrow night, 10:30. Are you ready for this? The 10th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast. The 3 games we're going to start it with the 3 Thanksgiving games in the NFL, and then we'll get into all the college games after that. The headliner, obviously, Ohio State and Michigan, and it's the biggest Ohio State-Michigan game maybe ever. Big Ten and college football playoff implications, massive Big Ten and college football playoff implications for the winner. No doubt about that. Oklahoma State, the Bedlam game. That's another one to look forward to. It's rivalry week. We'll get into the Iron Bowl, the Egg Bowl, all that good stuff. And that'll be tomorrow night. Wednesday night Mayhem. MF will have that. NXT 2.0, AEW Dynamite. We're off Thursday for Thanksgiving. And then we'll be right back with you on Black Friday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. Friday night SmackDown, AEW Rampage. And then Saturday, NFL Saturday, we'll run down the rest of the NFL games for the week. For week number 12, I believe. So we're approaching the home stretch here, folks. So get ready. And then right back here next week for another edition of Ridiculously Raw. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for our 10th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast, Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Woodson, and of course, always and forever, the Yankee Messiah 401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for our 10th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.